Look at any major infrastructure project. A massive hospital does not rise from the dirt without millions of work hours, machinery, and capital. But the state itself does not generate this wealth. Governments do not possess their own inherent money. Every road paved, every clinic designed, and every power grid expanded relies entirely on capital first generated by the private sector, by the architects, engineers, and contractors doing the actual building. Before a site is cleared or a public works contract is signed, the National Revenue Fund has to be capitalized by taxpayers. Your daily operations, the taxes your firm pays, provide the exact capital the state uses to commission your next project. The state's power to collect this capital is constrained by the same rule of law that governs the citizens themselves. Chapter 13 of the South African Constitution forms the legal bedrock for how public finance operates. It dictates exactly how national revenue must be divided equitably across national, provincial, and municipal lines. The Constitution ensures that funds extracted from private enterprise are legally mandated to serve the broader national interest. Within this framework, paying tax becomes a specific constitutional act that provides the material resources necessary to sustain the republic. The South African Revenue Service, or SARS, is the institution tasked with enforcing these constitutional financial mandates. To do this effectively, SARS holds immense administrative authority, outlined here in the Tax Administration Act. The Act grants SARS sweeping jurisdiction over mandatory corporate registration, expansive information gathering, and the authority to audit construction firms deeply. Under specific conditions, officials can even execute search and seizure operations without a warrant if they suspect records might be destroyed. For a cash flow-intensive business, one of the sharpest realities of this system is the pay now, argue later principle. If your firm receives a massive tax assessment and disputes it, the legal obligation to pay that amount is not automatically suspended. The capital leaves your account while the argument happens. The state wields this power because preventing tax evasion is treated as a matter of national economic survival, prioritizing the treasury over individual corporate liquidity. But the Constitution also requires administrative justice, providing a legal shield to protect businesses from unchecked state overreach. The first line of defense is procedural. A firm has the absolute right to demand formal reasons for any assessment and to lodge an official objection. If the objection is rejected, taxpayers can utilize Alternative Dispute Resolution, or ADR, as detailed in this SARS guide. This allows parties to settle conflicts by agreement outside the costly tax court system. If internal SARS processes fail to resolve the issue, independent avenues exist. The Office of the Tax Ombudsman serves as an independent mechanism to review and address service failures, procedural errors, or administrative complaints directly against SARS. These rights maintain a necessary balance. The state possesses significant leverage to extract capital, but it remains fully accountable to the law and the entities it taxes. Once the National Revenue Fund is capitalized by the private sector, how does that money legally flow back into the economy? The answer lies in Section 217 of the Constitution, which regulates all government tenders and state contracting. Section 217 dictates that public procurement must happen through a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective. This ensures the tax revenue collected earlier is systematically reinvested into new schools, advanced modern hospitals, and transit networks via private sector contracts. The capital extracted from the construction industry forms the very budget that sustains the public works ecosystem the industry relies on to operate. The tension between state revenue collection and private sector rights ultimately forms a highly symbiotic economic relationship. Tax morality extends beyond basic legal compliance. It is the practical foundation of the nation's physical development. An efficient tax authority paired with an ethically compliant private sector provides the government with the liquidity necessary to issue the tenders that keep the nation building. The modern built environment is the physical manifestation of a functioning social contract. Every piece of major infrastructure stands as clear evidence of a massive transfer of public and private capital. This financial cycle functions as the primary mechanism for the country's physical expansion. Taxation is the engine for infrastructure, development, and national progress.